This is the plaintiff, Diane Kenny. She says she agreed to rent an apartment from the defendant, but the guy couldn't get the previous tenants to move out, and the deal fell through. For some odd reason, though, the defendant refuses to return her deposit or pay for the storage of her belongings, even though he jumped the gun and rented the place to her before it was vacant. She's suing for $3,000, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, William Alm. He says he was very clear he may have a problem getting his tenants out by the plaintiff's move-in date, and she said she was willing to take the risk. He also told her the deposit she was giving him was non-refundable. He owes her nothing, and is pretty sure today's judgment will go his way. He's accused of renting an occupied apartment.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff rented an apartment from the defendant, but the previous tenant wouldn't move out, so the plaintiff demanded her security back. Landlord didn't give it to her, but he says it's non-refundable. It's the case of one unit, lots of tenants.
All right, Ms. Kenny, you are suing Mr. Alm for $3,000 that you say he owes you and a security deposit that he has not returned, plus storage fees that you've had to pay because you couldn't move in there, and aggravation. Tell me what's going on.
All right, well, I was driving down the road. William was putting up a for rent sign at his house. I pulled in. I looked at the apartment.
Wow, what a dream. I'm putting up a for rent sign and somebody talks to me that second.
Yeah, and the apartment was rented at the time. The tenant supposedly had a lease that was due at the end of June. They were supposed to be out. So we were going to move in July 2nd. Okay. So he wanted the month's security up front, which I gave him, $1,900. And when I went to move in, the tenants were still there. So I said, okay, well, obviously I need to move from my place. I already moved out of my place to move into this place.
How did you find out the tenants hadn't moved? You just showed up with a moving truck?
I showed up to the house about a week before we were supposed to move in. All right. I just wanted to make sure that everything's fine. We got the dates right. Everything's good. Tenants were still there, so I could not move in. I asked for my...
a week before, you're not supposed to move in.
No, but the tenants were still there. They're refusing to leave. He said they're refusing to leave.
Right, that's what I mean. So there had to be a conversation between you two.
Yes, I spoke with him. He said that the tenants were refusing to leave. He was going to start eviction procedures. Oh. Okay, so I was like, okay, it is what it is. Just give me my security back.
And what did he say?
He said, I don't have that type of money.
I don't have that type of money. You just gave him that type of money.
I know.
Okay, and you're supposed to keep that type of money in a separate interest-bearing account. What did you spend that money?
That money went into, I was still creating another apartment at the house, and I had put the money into the house. I thought the tenants were going to move by July 1st was the end of their thing. But what had happened with them is they had actually, they took off to Pennsylvania for the summer. And they never said anything. So they just vanished.
Were they paying rent?
They still haven't paid rent.
What is the reason that you're not returning this woman's security deposit?
I don't have the money at the moment.
That's your defense?
No. What basically you're asking me now?
What's your defense?
What's my defense? Well,
So can the landlord spend the tenant security deposit?
Well, what I'm thinking is it depends on what...
I don't want it depends. I want a yes or a no.
No.
Why?
Because it's not right.
Okay. What do you say?
I say you can't spend it.
Why?
He agreed that he would give it back in case he moved out.
Huh?
It's a deposit. That's what it is. You can't spend the deposit.
We will find out going inside the courtroom.
I told her that the apartment was occupied. Their lease ends on July 1st. You can move in July 2nd if they're out.
If they're not out, what? I keep your money?
If they're not out, then no. She would obviously be entitled to the money back at that point. But what happened?
So then why didn't you give her the money back?
I didn't have it at that point.
Okay. Well then, do you understand that you're not supposed to spend that money?
Yeah, now I do.
Now you do. Why would it be, if you have a sense and you're not positive that your tenants are going to leave, you're not delivering the apartment for her to live in, then on what planet would you not be returning money? So maybe that money was not money you should be spending, period, no matter what. So I don't understand. So then what do you tell her?
Well, on each receipt, it is written, we had agreed this was not going to be refundable. because she was taking it off of I was taking it off of the market. She was supposed to be paying a month's rent, a month's security, and 2 months security, actually. So that was
thank God you didn't do that. Go on.
That was $5,700.
Yeah, when she moves in.
Right.
Right. So non-refundable, right? So like if I sell you a car and then you give me $5,000 for the car, I can go, I said non-refundable, there's no car for you, right? Do you think that when you breach a contract by not being able to deliver for her a roof over her head, that means that they're still non-refundable? Non-refundable is for when you didn't breach and she says, I changed my mind, I found something nicer, I want my money back. No, it's non-refundable. You think for one moment when you breach, I don't care if those people overstayed or didn't overstay or paying you or not paying you, I don't care. Those are your problems. They are not her problems. On what planet are you not going to get ordered to return that $1,900? Not on this one. Here on planet Earth, you pay that back because I am pretty sure that if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd be demanding that money back, wouldn't you?
No.
No. You would just say, oh, I guess those are the lumps I take. Yeah, you're that kind of guy. You have another additional monies that you're asking for storage. Tell me about that.
Okay, I moved out of a 3-bedroom house that I was supposed to move into a 3-bedroom apartment, so I had a house full of furniture. Unfortunately, since I had no place to go, my son's friend let us crash in his basement. I can't put a house full of furniture in a basement, so I have 100.
Is that where you're still living now?
I am still there right now.
Okay, so you're asking for the storage that you did not expect to have to pay.
Correct.
And that's $309, and I agree with you. You're entitled to that. Now, what's the $791 for aggravation?
I've been doing dishes in a bathroom for the whole month because I'm in a basement. I have no kitchen. Okay, it's just the world's most horrible experience.
That you're not entitled to. But you are entitled to the $1,900 and you're entitled to your storage fees because you don't get to take people's money, steal people's money, really. It's steal. Don't roll your eyes at me. It is steal. Doesn't belong to you. You were given it in order to do something, and then you didn't do the something. You didn't provide it. Oh, by the way, did he say, oh, by the way, there's a chance, so you're agreeing to this, there's a chance that my tenants might hold over as a complete surprise to me, and if that happens, you still don't get your money back. Did that conversation happen?
No.
Yeah, I kind of think it'd be hard to rent a place saying that. I'm ruling in your favor in the amount of the $2,209. Pay the lady.
Thank you.
This is the defendant coming out of here. How'd it go?
Not very good.
Well, why do you think you're entitled to keep the lady's money? Just because you wrote non-refundable and down there?
No, we
can
had-
make up the law?
No, we had the conversation.
That she assumes the risk, all the risk.
Exactly. That's exactly the conversation we had.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she'd be willing to take that risk because she was dying to get out of the place that she was in. She was in a place where the roof was leaking. It was coming through the...
You offered her a better deal than just what? The craps table in Atlantic City? She could put $1,900 there and taking a risk if she wanted to.
Yeah, I guess she could have, but she didn't. All right.
All right, sir.
Mm-hmm. What's your reaction to this outcome here?
Well, I'm happy. I kind of knew it was going to go this way. I didn't think he could just keep my money. And I'm very happy.
He said you were willing to take the casino risk with him. You knew that if it didn't work out, you lose your money, right?
No, I knew if it didn't work out, I would need to find another place to live, but I assumed I would be getting my money back.
You did.
I did.
Harvey?
So FYI, Kurt, you know this, but everybody else, a landlord is only allowed to keep a security deposit for 2 reasons. One is failure to pay rent, and the second is damage to the apartment.